Jamal Khashoggi, a leading Saudi journalist and former government advisor, came from humble roots, getting his first boost studying journalism at Indiana State University, benefiting, like many of his generation, from a Saudi government grant for a US education. Returning home, he reported for Saudi and regional newspapers. His first major break came in the late 1980s, an overseas assignment to a war zone, Afghanistan. At the time, Saudi intelligence services were working with the CIA to oust the Soviets. A source close to Khashoggi says he got to know many of the young Saudi jihadists flocking to the fight, including Osama bin Laden. He had connections and caught the attention of the then Saudi intelligence chief, Prince Turki Al Faisal. The pair became close, despite Khashoggi's sometimes critical reporting. Following Al-Qaeda's 9/11 attacks, Khashoggi dared to ask the question few other Saudis would. Why did 15 of our young men attack America in so brutal a way? In 2002, as Saudi authorities battled Al-Qaeda on their own streets, his knowledge of the terror group led to a job advising Prince Turki, and made him useful as the country struggled to contain the chaos of an insurgent movement at home. In 2003, when Turkey became ambassador to the UK, then DC 2 years later, Khashoggi followed him. Eventually, he returned to reporting. His criticism of the kingdom's conservative clerics would cost him his job. When Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman began his ambitious reforms, Khashoggi was a fan. But his ruthless methods rankled Khashoggi, and he crossed an invisible line.
I received a phone call ordering me to go silent, with no court decree, with just someone from the royal court, an official from the royal court who was close to the leadership, and ordered me to be silent. That offended me.
He fled Saudi, leaving his family behind, writing for the Washington Post. He praised the new crown prince, but also laid on his criticism more than he dared at home.
Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince, enjoys a great support from the Saudi public, and he is seen as a savior by young Saudis and by me and elderly Saudis. So he doesn't need this environment of intimidation, of cracking down on dissent.
Days before he disappeared, he told an interviewer that he didn't think he'd ever be allowed to return to Saudi Arabia. Friends say he knew the risks of angering the Saudi establishment. Khashoggi went to the consulate in Istanbul to get papers that would show his divorce so he could marry his Turkish fiancée. He'd been apprehensive about the visit. In his disappearance, Jamal Khashoggi achieved the headlines he'd spent the past year trying to generate. Public debate over the methods new Saudi leaders seem willing to use in their quest to retain power.